Hey, girlfriend. What is up? Happy Friday. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe Friday is here already. I swear, like, Friday just came out of nowhere. Let me know what your day has been like, what your week has been like. If you're in the curl chat, let me know that as well, too, girlfriend. Because, yeah, it's Friday. I'm just going to go ahead and wait for some of us, the girlfriend crew to come up in here and to show up while I go ahead and sip on my afternoon green tea. For those of you who are wondering, today I am rocking one of our Fine Natural Hair Rocks tops. This one is the regular. This is the basic logo top. This is available on our merch website. I'm also going ahead and enjoying a nice green tea. This one's our Fine Natural Hair Rocks Afro Girl. Because yeah, we're here. We're on Financial Hair Rocks. I see there are three of us in the chat. Girlfriend, today's video is all about a protective style that is literally just for you. I'm always talking about protective styles that some of them work, some of them don't. The issues that make a protective style not necessarily a protective style, and then the stuff that make a protective style like absolutely amazing. So I really wanted to come on here and really just share with you what you can do, because we're always talking about what, fine strands can't necessarily do. Hey, Mary, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. If you've missed the top, here it is. This is our Fine Natural Hair Rocks merch top. It's really fun. It's exciting. It stands out. And it's great. I've been wearing it to the gym, on, errands, everywhere. Like it's super easy, especially with the hot weather. Hi, Nadoom. What's up, girlfriend? What is up? I love that. I love that so much. So, what is this protective style that I feel like works for everybody? It's literally the one that I'm wearing right now. So, this is a weave, of course. Here's all the hair in the back right here. I did leave some links in the curl chat at the bottom for anybody who's interested in checking it out. Now, weaves can absolutely cause breakage. They can absolutely cause a lot of damage if you're not doing the weave properly. So, for example, like if you've got a weave in and the weave is requiring a ton of manipulation. So, you know what I'm talking about. You know those weaves where, you've got to press your hair, you've got to blow out your hair, you've got to curl your hair, you've got to do all these things to your hair just to make it blend with the weave. As you can see, this texture is very much very similar to what 4C hair might look like when it's blown out. And so it's not a problem, even in the summertime, for me to have a leave out situation going on. It's still blending quite nicely and I don't have much to do with it. Hi, Patricia. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for coming through. Um, so yeah, but even with a style like this, even with a protective style like this, you can absolutely, accidentally fall into territories that can cause breakage. So for example, like I do have in a leave out right now. All of this is my hair right here, and then the middle is around here is mine too. Up here into the back is mine too, right? If I was, blowing that piece out all the time, if I was not going ahead and moisturizing my hair, not going ahead and covering it on up when I'm inside, when I'm sleeping at night, those are the kinds of things that would absolutely cause breakage. It would dry out the hair and it would just not be a very good situation. Love yourself. I would love to get a weave, but my hair is so thin for the leave out to cover tracks. Love your hair. Thank you so much, Mary. So that's really interesting. And I love that you brought that up because I have the exact same issue. Back in the day when I was doing weaves on a more regular basis, I would actually have the exact same problem. So like I would leave out the little leave out there and then I would also leave it out on the sides. But guess what? It wasn't covering up those tracks because the tracks are quite thick. They're visible. If you have thin hair or if you have fine strands, it's not necessarily going to cover it as well. What I love about the textures that are a little bit more kinkier, the textures that, and if you don't have 4C hair, maybe you have 4A, 4B, maybe you have even the threes. But what I found with this hair type is that when your hair is shrinking, when it is reverting, it looks really beautiful, and the kind of shrinkage aspect of the roots tend to cover it on up. So I haven't had that issue as much with this, and but I have absolutely had that issue when it came to wearing more straighter tresses or even more wavier looks, right? Looks that are difficult to blend. Hi, Blazing Saddles. Thank you so much for coming. Patricia says, I am still at work. Thank you for tuning in, and hello to the replay gang. Thank you so much for showing up. If you clicked onto this video, you saw a video, a thumbnail that featured my real hair versus what I'm looking like with these new tracks attached. Hi, girl. Thank you so much for everybody for coming through. I really do appreciate it. So there are good ways and there are bad ways to rock a weave. When I first got it installed about 2 weeks ago, so it's been in my hair for about 2.5 weeks now. I was concerned. I was concerned because weaves can absolutely cause damage. However, I've actually not only not experienced damage, but I do feel like that portion of my hair is still growing and still growing quite nicely. And these are the things that I do with it. So, on a regular basis, I will go in and apply a moisturizer. Now, the moisturizer of my choice in this moment is this one right here. This is the Oyin Handmade Greg Juice, and it really is just a curl refresher spray that I can go in, I can spray on the hair and, kind of keep it moving. Now, what I really, really love about this, and if you're interested in it, we've got, different discount codes in the description box because I am working with Oyin Handmade, but this one has very natural ingredients in it that are actually quite good for your fine natural hair. So the top 5 ingredients super quickly are shave grass leaf. It's like an aqua infusion of shave grass leaf, lavender buds, nettle leaf, chamomile flower, and red rose petals. Already amazing, right? And then it's got, flax seeds, organic flax seeds at that, aloe barbadensis leaf juice, and it's got vegetable glycerin. So this stuff is really, really good. It smells amazing as well. It smells like citrus lavender. That is the scent on it right there. And I really do believe that it actually does have that scent. It leaves the hair feeling and smelling really nice. Now, usually what I will do, of course, if you're going ahead and you're spraying your leave out with water, it's going to revert, right? Like it's not going to stay straight. It's not going to do all the things. And this is the reason why it's really important to choose a texture that matches your own. Now, I am somebody who loves length. I find it's very beautiful. I find it's very feminine. And it's just a really nice way to kind of, get a different look, especially if length is your goal. Which here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks, I'm not shy to say it. You guys all know that length is absolutely my goal on my fine natural hair journey. Now, if you're doing something like this, it's a nice way to enjoy that length in a way that looks similar to what your own natural hair might look like. Now, what I do after I go ahead and I spray, I kind of just either, if it's been a week and I have already done a reverse session for the week, I will go ahead and just twist the hair up and then it gives it a nice curl pattern. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a curl pattern already going on. It's kind of gone away mostly now, but the reason why the hair kind of has a kind of wavy-ish look to it is because I have been braiding it up along with my leave out so that my leave out and then also the weave, the tracks itself, they'll all blend together when they're braided out and when they're loosened. So, after that, if there is a lot of, there weave, and I really wanted to make sure that it was as healthy as possible. In that time frame, I have actually gone ahead and washed my hair twice. Now, washing my hair twice, if you have a weave, you can't really get to your scalp. You can't really get to your tracks in the way that you would if you never had a weave, if you never had this protective style. So what I do in that situation is I will go in with a co-wash instead. So this co-wash right here, it's been carrying me for the last 2 weeks. This is the Mega Greens Butter Shampoo, and this one's from Sotanicals. I am not affiliated with Sotanicals at all. I don't know who is. To be honest with you, no one's really affiliated with Sotanicals, but it's fine because their products are amazing. And so this is their Mega Greens Butter Shampoo. It's a co-wash. And what I really love about it is that the ingredients are potent enough, they're healthy enough that you could go ahead, you can do the co-wash, and you can kind of get away without doing a full deep conditioning treatment in that moment. So that's what I do to reset the curls. I do this every single time my hair is starting to feel kind of dry. You know that feeling, girlfriend, when your curls are dry, they're kind of sticking up on each other, they're looking like they want to break and snap off. That's a situation when I will absolutely go in and reset with this co-wash treatment right here. Patricia says, I had a sew-in one time. My scalp was hurting so bad, but it looked pretty. Yeah. See, so Patricia, I love that you brought that up. So that's a very important piece as well. You really have to make sure you know who, let them know what your goals are for that sew-in. So, once upon a time, and I think it still exists to this day, people are getting sew-ins because it looks pretty, right? Like they're not necessarily getting sew-ins because they want a protective style, or maybe they do. But here on Fine Nature Hair Rocks, we all have similar goals. We all want healthy, thicker, longer strands, fine strands at that. And so in that situation, it's really important to let the stylist know, this isn't just a style for me. This is something, this is a tool. Like I'm using this because yes, I want to look good, but I also want to grow out my own fine strands so that one day, someday, my hair can also be this length and I can enjoy it in these styles. And so I absolutely have that conversation with my stylist. People might think it's being picky. People might think it's being, a little too much. But I mean, if you have a goal, you have a goal, and you have to absolutely advocate for that goal because at the end of the day, you're the one who's rocking those strands. You're the one who's living your life under your hair, and those things are important to you. If it's important to you, then it's important to you, and that's the end of that, right? So I totally get it. I've been in the chair where I've had like a hurting scalp before, and chances are likely if your scalp is hurting while you're rocking a weave, chances are likely that some type of breakage is happening too, and that is not good. That's not good at all. That is very counterproductive to what it is that we're trying to achieve here, which is of course the beautiful style and also the protective style at that. Blazing saddles. I've come to realize that I'm too tender-headed for on-time protective styling. So blazing saddles, I want to ask you, have you ever tried to do your weaves yourself? There's the other person who does my weaves and I've never ever had an issue with it is my mom. She's very good at, just dealing with like tender heads, not necessarily going in and braiding super tightly. All those things matter. If you are getting a weave, my braids are not in there like really, really tightly. I'm just feeling them in right now. They're quite loose, actually. I was like feeling them when I was in New York the other day, and I was like, oh, these are kind of loose. But no, I think that's really necessary to avoid that tender-headed feeling, because I feel like our scalps are our best friends as it relates to communicating to us when something is going on that's not necessarily good for an optimal state for growth or an optimal state for length retention. I think that if you're starting to feel that tenderheadedness, if you're starting to feel, maybe it's itchy, whatever the case may be, those are all signs that something is not right. Patricia Jenkins, I had that Sultanical shampoo. I just washed my hair with it. Oh, nice. Yeah, this stuff is the bomb.com. I mean, I love this stuff. You can use it as a regular shampoo. You can use it as a co-wash. But for me, I like using it as a co-wash because it is very rich. It is very nutritious for the strands. And I feel like you can get away with just using this, but any of the butter shampoos really. But there's something about this one right here, this Mega Greens shampoo that my hair really tends to love. And girlfriend, if you ever watched any of my other YouTube videos right here on YouTube, I think there's like over 400 of them right now, which is crazy. But if you've ever watched one of them, you know that I always talk about finding the products that work for you. So, products that work for you, your hair will have slip. Your hair will be easier to deal with. Your hair will be more manageable. So, oftentimes, a lot of people think that when you're wearing fine natural strands or, part of it, part and parcel with it is the fact that it's going to tangle up on itself. It's going to be a difficult situation to manage. And that's not necessarily, in my view, something that fine natural hair has to be or natural hair, period. Like it doesn't have to be unmanageable. If it is unmanageable, in my experience, I've learned that that's a sign that that product's not working well for you. Maybe choose something else. And not here to advocate for product junkyism, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to figure out what works, right? There's a reason why I've got tons of other co-washes over there, but this is the one that I reach out to each and every time because this is the one that's going to get through the tangles, it's going to get through the matted, the tendency to mat in a way that I will still have hair once I'm done with that wash session, which would be nice, right? Nadoom! Those Sultanica's bottle shampoos are great for detangling. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. And when AO was creating this particular formula, these ingredients. It was an absolutely amazing time. If you are interested in purchasing it, I believe it's available on the Sultanicals website, just sultanicals.com. You should be able to find it. All of the butter shampoos, I think, perform pretty much in the same ways, but this one is just my favorite, and I do believe it's there anyways. Patricia, the braids underneath were too tight. Yeah, that is going to each and every single time cause breakage. And if your braids are too tight, absolutely take them out. Absolutely. So once I'm done with this Mega Greens butter shampoo, once I'm done with, resetting my curls, one of the things that has been game changer for me, and I think this is what was missing from me in the past, was a healthy way to stretch. Now, I told you earlier that the way I would stretch in the past was to just braid the hair on up and, maybe I would get like a nice wave to it. If you've got tighter strands, tighter curls, and you're looking for maybe a looser look, and you want that looser look right away, I wouldn't recommend going in with a flat iron. Flat irons are something that, yes, I own a few of them. I do own hot tools, but I never use them at home because I just feel like using flat irons at home tends to lead to breakage. If not immediately, absolutely over time. And so I'd rather leave something like that up to the professionals. But what I am comfortable with using and what I talk about all the time because it absolutely works, it was game changer for me, is the Revere. Now, if you're interested in the Revere, you can definitely check out the links down below. Our girlfriends who've been here for a while, some have purchased and absolutely love it. If you purchase it and you don't love it, you can absolutely go ahead and get your 30-day money back guarantee, and you can just send that back onto the company and they will give you back your money, which is fantastic. But for me, that has been a major piece of my length retention journey because when the hair starts to tangle up on itself, when it's in its super curly state, I find length retention harder. So in the early days of Fine Natural Hair Rocks, I was actually doing a no heat natural hair care journey. Like I wasn't using heat, no flat irons, no blowouts, no anything to do with artificial heats beyond like a deep conditioning treatment because that type of heat is different when you've got product on your hair and you're just trying to process. But I find personally that I reached new levels of length retention and new levels of thickness when I started using heat in a more strategic way, using heat to keep the hair straight, to avoid the tangling to begin with, which would then also avoid the breakage that comes from the tangling and the matting and all those things. So that's been a major piece. Now, I don't revere my hair every single day. I don't, of course not. I don't revere even every single week. Usually I will revere once a week, once every other week, and that's it. This time around, I did actually kind of break that rule, and I did go ahead and revere the first week, and then when it was installed, and then the second week I revered, and then going into the third week I revered again. Now I never revere on dirty hair, because if you revere on dirty hair, it's just like any other heat source, it's going to cause breakage. So I make sure to revere on freshly washed, heat protected hair. And the product that I use that I don't have on me right now is the Chi Silk Infusion, which is a great product to avoid, just the hair breaking off, to avoid the heat damage, which the Revere doesn't provide heat damage, or sorry, doesn't give heat damage rather. But for my fine strands, more protection is better than less. And so I do use a heat protecting each and every time. Hi, Coily Code. What's up? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Girlfriend, if you're enjoying Fine Natural Hair Rocks, if any video has ever resonated with you, if Fine Natural Hair Rocks has been helpful to inform your natural hair journey, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Go ahead and like. Also, feel free to share any video that you want with a friend. We are looking to expand our girlfriend crew. We are so close to 10K. I cannot believe it. There is absolutely a lovely giveaway coming for 10K subscribers. So the faster we get there, the faster we can have fun with that giveaway. Blazing Saddles. Do you get a lot of shrinkage while working out after using the Revere? That is a fantastic question, Blazing Saddles. No, I don't. You know what? It's funny because today is Friday. The last time I revered my hair was on, I want to be accurate, I want to say it was Monday. Monday, I revered my hair. And I've been to the gym every single time. Like, I've been to the gym on Monday. Actually, no, I came back from New York on Tuesday. So I would have revered on Tuesday. So yeah, I have like I haven't had an issue. Like I washed it out, I've been to the gym, and this is what I look like after going to the gym. And I think that's amazing. To me, like I do have very tightly coily 4B, 4C strands, especially in the front. And even though they are curling on up, it doesn't look like it's telling the whole world that I'm wearing a weave. Just because, again, like the back is very, the whole thing is kinky curly. All of it is textured. So, that really does help. I will say that it did shrink up a little, but because I have fine strands, which most of us here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks do, I find that that shrinkage has actually helped to make the style look even more realistic than it was looking before, even more thicker and more plusher and all those things. So I think the main takeaway point when we're wearing weaves or even wigs, like whatever you're wearing and you're trying to blend, or even crochet, right? Like there's so many different ways that we can add extensions to our hair and call it a protective style, right? If you are rocking any of those things, and you are using your hair, I think embracing the shrinkage and embracing the textures that we naturally have is gonna go a really long way. But that is a really good question. So yeah, there might be some shrinkage, but not enough to say, I'm gonna go from like what shrinkage would be like on a wash day, for example. Like my hair at the front is pretty long at this point. Like I would say it's like about right here. The shrinkage has maybe caught me up to here, starting from the roots and then on down, which I think is very reasonable given the revere. Now, to your point, Blazing Saddles, one of the things that I do after the revere to kind of lock in that straighter texture, that more blown out texture, is I go in with this product right here. So this is the Shea USA Shea Paste Light. The reason why I love this and I've been using it so much, this is actually my second jar, and this is what it's looking like. Like I absolutely love this stuff. I haven't talked about Shea USA a lot on this channel. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did talk about Shea USA. There's actually a full video right here on Fine Natural Hair Rocks where I did partner with Shea USA. Um, and that's how I found out actually about this product. So I'm just gonna go ahead and find the link to share with you, if you'd like to view that video after this live, or if you're interested and you want to see it now. But there's the link right there for the Shea USA this product. So this is a butter, and it is a very rich, nutrient-rich butter. The purpose of Shea paste is actually to strengthen strands. So because I am going in with my Revere more often, because my real hair is exposed, it's not a full sew-in, which you can of course achieve if you were to do, say for example, a full head sew in, or if you were to do a closure. I haven't ever had a closure. That's something that I might do this winter. But if you do have leave out and you want to protect your leave out, I would strongly recommend kind of upping your moisturization, regimens, which, we talked about earlier that I've been doing with the moisturizing shampoo, and even moisturizing leave-in conditioners I've used as well. But you also want to make sure that you're having a good strengthening effect to your strands. And this is precisely what will do that for you. So in terms of ingredients, because me, I'm not really married to products per se, but I am married to ingredients. And good ingredients are good ingredients. That it is what it is, right? So this one, the top 5 ingredients has tallow, ostrich oil, shea powder. So that's the piece that's giving the strengthening effect. Essential oils of rosemary, lavender, and peppermint. And that's it. So this is a Black-owned business. It's a Black-owned company, and it works. So one of the things that it also does, in addition to strengthening the hair, because it is a butter, it's going to lock in whatever is inside of your hair and lock out whatever's trying to come in. So I find after using this, and it's not something that they talk about while marketing the product, so you wouldn't know unless you're part of this right here or you've used it before. But what I find is that when I apply this to my strands, I'm getting the protective element of like the butters, but at the same time, it's kind of blocking out what's going on in terms of moisturization in the environment and in the air, such that I'm able to my strands stay straight. And I really love it because like I like to take hot showers. I don't always wear, my shower cap when I'm in the shower. So sometimes things get wet. And whenever I use this, it still stays pretty straight, or straight enough at least for this weave. Now, would that work if I was wearing like, an Indian Remy blend, or I was wearing bundles from like a Brazilian type bundles? Probably not. Like Let's be real, probably not. But that's the reason why I wouldn't wear that, because I'm not here to fight with my texture. I don't think that that's productive, and I don't think it's even. I don't even think it works. Like, I don't want to be telling the whole world that I'm rocking, weave. Like, I kind of want my weaves to look like it could be real, right? Natasha Armstrong, how do you keep a wash and go after a workout? I sweat in my head. So this is a really good question. I actually don't really rock wash and goes, to be honest, because I find that keeping more fragile, fine, highly textured strands, which is exactly what I have, keeping them in a more organized state tends to help length retention a lot more than wash and goes. However, when I have worn a wash and go in the past, what I would do is I would wear like one of those sweatbands. So just looking to the side to see if I have anything nearby. Unfortunately, I don't, but just like a headband at the front, and maybe do like a pineapple with all the hair on the top, so that all of your curls are up here, and whatever sweating out is happening is only happening in your roots. And so, your wash and go, like, as you sweat it out from the roots, but at least your ends are still going to be nice and curly and in that lock state of the wash and go, whatever the curl pattern is that you locked in, your natural curl pattern, because it's a wash and go. You will have that locked in curl pattern at the top, but maybe you'll have a little bit more shrinkage or frizzing at the root. For me personally, that's never an issue, because again, like, I like anything that makes the strands look thicker than they actually are. But if you're somebody who likes to have more of a sleeker look, more of a gel look, you can always just go back in and gel up the edges, and then that should be a good look from there. So that's what I would do if I was rocking, wash and goes more often. Again, I don't really rock wash and goes that much, just because I find they cause more breakage than protection for me personally. And I like to see my length as well. So that's the reason why I'm not a big fan of that. But if I was doing it, that's exactly what I would do, Natasha. 100%. Coily Code. You can try dry shampoo or take a cotton swab with witch hazel and apply to your scalp, but that can only go so far for sweat. Absolutely. And, if you are finding that you need a lot of hair wash treatments, you feel like you need to be, washing your hair more regularly than you actually want to, you can definitely go ahead and, in between full washes, go ahead and do a co-wash. And to me, that will also serve the purposes of keeping the hair nice and clean, but not necessarily, drying out your scalp or losing your wash and goes, right? Natasha, what is a good moisturizer for everyday wear for natural hair? Yeah. So for me, it depends. Like right now, let's talk about the summertime, because we are in the summer. I find, if you've gone in with all your products on wash day, you've done a really good job of deep conditioning your hair, using a good moisturizing leave-in, you've got your products in, then you can just simply refresh. So again, I like to refresh with the Oyin Handmade Greg Juice. This one, I love it. I'm all about the ingredients. I'm not so into brands as I was before. Early in my hair care journey, I was all about, if something was dropping, I wanted to be on it and I wanted to find it. But now I've really leaned into reading the ingredients, understanding the ingredients and what they will do for your hair, and going into that. And so Oyin Handmade has very natural based ingredients, wonderful ingredients that are, I would say, most of them even edible. You don't want to eat the product, but if you had to eat the product, it wouldn't be toxic. And I think that's really a great place for your hair to be. So for that reason, I would just recommend moisturizing every day with just like a spray in the summertime. Because the summertime, strands are fine. They get weighed down really easily with very heavy product. And so, in the summertime, you don't really need a lot anyways. It's not like the wintertime where you might want to go in every day with a leave-in conditioner, as opposed to going in every single day with something as light as a spray. This should be perfectly fine for right now, but that would definitely change once the fall and the winter set in, especially if you're in a very cold environment, the way I am here in extremely cold Toronto. Blazing Saddles, thank you. We'll check out the video. I've been using shea butter. Really wanted to know what others do in this instance. You're welcome, and thank you for asking that awesome question. Shea butter is another really good one. And the only reason why I used to use shea butter in the past and I stopped, because I found it was too heavy. Like, I had to use a very little amount. And if I used even just a little bit more than that very little amount, my hair would literally be like completely flat, no movement, and just almost like stuck to my head. Whereas with this, I find like even if you do use a little goes a long way, number one, but even if you do use a lot accidentally, it's so light that it doesn't really weigh down the strands. So you're getting the benefits of a butter, but you're not getting that heavy pull of a butter, which is probably the reason why they called it a paste light and not like a butter itself. So, full disclosure, Shea Bay USA did send this product to me. I'm no longer affiliated with them right now, but they did send it to me, and they did send this specifically for fine natural hair. I told them my hair type. They were like, "Try this stuff. It's really, really good." And I would have to agree. So again, I'm no longer affiliated with Shea Bay USA, but in the time frame that I was, which was like 2 years ago, I really did fall in love with this product. Natasha, what will a dry shampoo do for washing goes if I'm not trying to rewash? Yeah, so a dry shampoo, if you're somebody who gets really oily, then a dry shampoo will latch onto the and kind of remove it from you. So, it's really well suited for people who have like a lot of like maybe sweat, maybe oils on their scalp to make you feel a little bit more fresher, to make things a little bit less gunky. Although, if you do keep using a dry shampoo over and over and over again, that can also add to the gunk and just the product buildup on the scalp. So it could definitely work if you are trying to go ahead and refresh without doing a full wash and go again. But I feel like it's one of those things where you just have to trial and error it. I believe Shea Moisture has one. I only have ever used dry shampoo like maybe once in my life. And for me, I have a dryness issue. So it didn't do the things that I wanted it to do. And I don't think I sweat a ton on my scalp that can't be helped with just a sweatband. But for those who do, I think it's a great option. That was a really, really good, solution or an option to try out that Quilly Code left. So thank you, girlfriend, for that. You're welcome, Natasha. Lorraine, how do you maintain mini twists on stretch hair without shrinking? So for mini twists, what I would do is I would take the mini twists and I would twist them on each other. So like literally just take maybe, we've got fine strands here. So you could separate your hair into 4 quadrants and you could go ahead and take one quadrant, take a bunch of mini twists, give yourself one twist. The next quadrant, give yourself another twist, and so on and so forth. That should keep your twist in a stretch state. Depending on how long your hair is, if your hair is long enough to pull to the back, then even pulling them to the back with the I can't speak, satin scrunchie, that's gonna really help you go ahead and just avoid even like the twists shrinking up on themselves even more. But I think that's a really good way. Now, if you have shorter hair, then what you could do too is you could go ahead and just once you've got your 4 quadrants, you could go ahead and band like kind of like a banding method with the scrunchies again, but in each quadrant so that it could be as stretched as possible, but you still have that curl on each twist. I hope that helps, Lorraine. Coily cold. Well, dry shampoo soaks up oil and sweat to remove the gunky. You just have to try to stay light-handed with it. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I feel like dry shampoo does exactly what it said it's going to do, which is it prolongs the need for a wash day as it relates to your scalp. But eventually, yeah, you definitely have to go in at some point and just reset the whole thing. Patricia Jenkins, my hair shrinks so much. That's why I usually wear crochet braids. Yeah, shrinkage is a real thing, especially in the summertime. And it's one of the reasons why I think that I was kind of stagnant for a long time in my natural hair length retention journey. For a long time, it just wasn't getting longer. It wasn't getting shorter, but it definitely wasn't getting longer either. And so, when your hair is shrinking a lot, I think that those methods that we talked about earlier are best. Now, if you're using braids, if you're using twists, if you're somebody, if you can afford it, which I truly do believe, the Revere pays for itself. I did purchase my own Revere at a time in my life when I really didn't have $400 or $500 to just spend. It was a significant amount of money, and it still is, right? But at the time, what I did notice and what I appreciated was the fact that if I didn't like this device, I could send it on back and get my money back. Or number two, what I really appreciated was the fact that I didn't have to go to the salons anymore. So going to the salon for a blowout was something that I used to do whenever I could. It was like a treat to myself, especially as it related to, blending it with my hairstyle. So I wasn't wearing weaves a lot, but I was wearing wigs. And the only option I had at the time was to go in with a flat iron. Now, the flat iron we all know is very damaging. There is no flat iron that's like a healthier alternative. I think they're all pretty damaging, whether you use ceramic, whether you use termine or turpentine, whatever it's called, they're all damaging, right? So, but when I purchased the Revere, it gave a stretch that to me was a gorgeous stretch that that's all I wanted. Like I didn't want the bone straight hair. That I went natural for a reason. Like I like texture. But it also gave me the opportunity to blend in with my wigs and to really, enjoy those beautiful blowouts from home on my own and also to increase manageability. And so that's like avoiding that shrinkage has really, really helped because of that device. And then to maintain it, not going back in with the Revere because, manipulation is still manipulation, but going in with the braids, maybe even banding if you don't have it. I think that's another wonderful, cost-effective alternative to take the satin scrunchies and just like, put each one down the length of the braid. You will get a nice stretch like that as well too. Lorraine, is a braid out something I can do every day with rebraiding at night? Yes, you absolutely can. I would just say be cautious of how you're doing it. So, for example, if you're braiding your hair out, you don't want to be braiding and leaving, the knot at the bottom of the strands and then kind of bursting right through it. If you're doing very healthy, methods of putting in your braids, you should be fine. For braid outs, what I've found the most successful is not to necessarily go in and do a full braid out every single night, but maybe to again the quadrant thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 4 braids. Those are holding my braid outs and it's fine. I find that's really nice. It's very healthy and I haven't noticed any like additional breakage. Another thing you could do if you're just trying to maintain your braid out is you can twist it. And then you can also maybe put it in a light ponytail underneath your bonnet, and you're good to go as well too. So I hope that helps. Island girl, oh darn, always get caught up with work and forget you go live at 2. At 2? Oh, where are you? So I do go live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Island Girl is logging on at 2 p.m. So that tells me that it might be a different time frame, a different time zone. That's really cool. I really do appreciate you for joining in. Those of you who do log in to Find Natural Hair Rocks while you're at home, you mean the world to me. Thank you. Or sorry, while you're at work, you mean the world to me. You all mean the world to me. And I really do appreciate the support. Find Natural Hair Rocks. We're here. We're a community. We're growing. And, the name is apt. Find Natural Hair does rock, and we need to put some more respect on our names. So, thank you so much for joining in. Courtney Cook says, "Me too. I barely made it." You guys are the best. Honestly, honest to goodness, you're the best. So, I mean, all of these lives are also available on replay, and I see that we are enjoying that, and they will always continue to be available replay as well. But there is something special about being able to join live. If you are not joining live, definitely, if you've ever got comments, you ever got thoughts, go ahead and pop them into the comment section. I respond to every single comment. I might not respond immediately, but the goal is to respond within the first 48 hours of that comment. Now, sometimes things get kind of crazy on the back end, and I might not be able to respond immediately, but the goal is always to respond to every single person because, yeah, we're a family. We got to respond to family. Shea Island Girl, shea butter is great for my skin, but does nothing for my hair. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it's a butter that works really nicely for thick strands. But if you've got fine strands, because it is so heavy, even the whip stuff, it's really, really heavy. Actually, the whip stuff is a little bit better. But the actual shea butter itself, like raw shea butter, oh my goodness, that stuff is super like it's just too potent. It definitely weighs things down for sure. Replay gang, yes. Quickie code. I do plan to buy Revere with your code by the end of the year, Lord willing. Yes, Lord willing. And you know what? There are some really good Black Friday sales. So if you could get your hands on a Black Friday Revere, the deals tend to be really nice then. And sometimes they let us double up on the codes. So if you are able to do that, that would be fantastic because then you can save yourself even more money, which is always great. TJ says, "I'm finally here. Welcome back, TJ. What did I miss? Oh, we just here talking about hair and, weaves and all that good stuff. But this is going to be available for, permanently here on Find Natural Hair Rocks. So if you ever want to reconnect and get the details, the good goods, then absolutely you could do so." Blazing Saddle says, yes, I do love using the river. Yeah, it's fun. I find it's a fun application. I was never somebody who enjoyed blowing out my strands. I just felt like it was a very stressful process because I'm blowing it out and then I'm using the brush and like you can literally hear the snaps. You can feel the snaps, you can see the snaps. Like it was too much. And so it was something that I never did. I just kind of left for the professionals. And yeah, like now with the Revere, it's actually a fun process. Like you just plop the hair in, take it off, it's straight. And they've got like a little tiny filter in the back that collects all of the hair that you've lost. And I really like that filter because it tells me how much hair am I losing, which is really great, right? You can see how much hair you're losing and you can determine whether or not this thing is causing more damage or if it's actually helping you to retain the length that you're trying to grow out. Um, Yes, Patricia, definitely wait for those Black Friday sales. I mean, if you must, so the deal is there. Our code is always available. But if not, then definitely I think Black Friday is going to be the next best bet. Lorraine, how can I refresh my mini twist without water or water-based products to avoid shrinkage? Can I use oils on the ends only, or will that dry out my hair? So I would say you can't really refresh mini twist like in terms of moisturization without water, right? Water is the ultimate moisturizer. There are some people who will say that they are moisturizing their hair with oils. Oils can't moisturize, it's only water. The same way how when we're thirsty, we drink water to moisturize and hydrate our bodies. We would never drink oil and say that like that's going to cause us to be like hydrated. Like it just wouldn't, right? And so what you can do is you can go ahead and go in with the moisturization and then just stretch it so that when it dries, like, and stretch it by meaning like maybe take those mini twists and braid them on up together, or take those mini twists and twist them together. When they dry, they're going to dry in that stretched, elongated state, and then you will get that nice the stretch that you're looking for. But the other thing that you could do is if you wanted it to kind of, or you could go in with the moisturizer and then you could go in with like a super light butter. So the one that I've been talking about today was the Shea Paste Light. Woo, I've used that in the past to go ahead and just keep my hair in a straightened state as well. TJ, I think giving up on having bone straight hair when I first went natural was very difficult for me. That's real. And you know what, TJ? I really appreciate that you're being, quite transparent and vulnerable with that, because I think a lot of us kind of went through that. What is going on my scalp? Sorry, guys. That was like annoying me. But going bone straight hair, like it can be really difficult. A lot of people, if that's your go-to style, you were that person who loved the bone straight weave, loved the bone straight relaxer, you just love that look for your aesthetic, your bone structure, whatever, that could be very difficult to leave. Now, I am somebody who never ever liked bone straight hair, even when it was a long hairstyle, like added weave, relaxer, whatever. It just wasn't my style. Like I always wanted some type of a texture, some type of a curl, some type of a wave. For me, I don't have that personal experience, but I absolutely get it. I 100% get it because, if you like the way something looks, you like the way something looks. If that's your aesthetic, it's your aesthetic. And so to combat that, I feel like following natural hair care influencers, people who are living and enjoying their life in their natural hair textures and the curl patterns and stuff like that really helps. So one of the things that I stopped doing when I was just trying to release this idea of what natural hair should look like, because when I first went natural, I was expecting looser curls. Like, I'll be totally transparent, that's what I was expecting. I thought that the healthier my hair got, the looser the texture would get, and that was a very ignorant place to be. But what I did to kind of release those shackles from my brain is I stopped following, ideals of beauty that did not look like my own. So while I absolutely have nothing against looser textures, they're gorgeous. For me, I needed to see what looked gorgeous for my texture, and I feel like that really helps with the natural hair care movement. And that's why it's so important for us to have this space of Fine Natural Hair, our Fine Natural Hair community. The other individual who's doing a really fantastic job is Michelle over at Fine Natural Hair and Faith, and also Kenya at Power in Your Curl. I believe finally Amber has fine strands too. But anyways, there's a couple of us who are doing this, and I feel like it really matters. It really truly matters to see exactly how other people are, just managing, maintaining, styling, loving, enjoying their fine strands, and to see that it can be beautiful, it can grow long, it can be healthy, all it can be as thick as it possibly can be for your density, all those kinds of things. So yes, it is a difficult journey for sure, TJ. I 100% agree with you, and I have absolutely experienced it in my own ways. So, I just want to say kudos to you, TJ, and to anybody else who's on this live right now and anybody else who's watching. Kudos to you for pushing back against that internal and external struggle, because our society doesn't really make it 100% easy to go natural either. So kudos to you for that, because it's a difficult journey, and yet here we are, we're still doing it. Island girl, I'm in LA, what's up? Oh my gosh, I did not know that. 3 hours behind you. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love Cali. I mean, Cali's a massive state, but I really do. I did enjoy my time in California, in San Francisco. Never been to LA, but wow, 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 wow. Thank you for joining. Natasha Armstrong, what have you used to grow your fine hair products? So that is a fantastic question. I actually made an entire video about that. I'm gonna go ahead and link into the chat as well for anyone who's interested in knowing which products I've used and have really, you know, benefited my fine natural hair journey. Here's my favorite products right here. The link for that. If you want to check that out, you absolutely can. So it should be in there now. But yes, I've used quite a bit. I've tried quite a bit. And while I will recommend products, I'll always revert back to this main piece, which is that you really need to make sure that the products are working for you. And you'll know that if your hair becomes more manageable at any stage of the process. So at the shampoo stage, conditioning stage, deep conditioner, whatever. If your hair is more manageable and you're noticing slip, you're noticing ease, you're noticing all these good things, then absolutely keep that product. Discard what I am saying and anybody else in this space and lean into what works for you. 154 Angel 154. Emulsify a bit of shea butter in the hands before application. You'd be surprised at the outcome on fine strands. Ooh, that is a good tip. I love that. You know what? For those of us in here who are still trying to make shea butter work for us, that's a great tip, because you're right. Like once you emulsify it, it becomes really thin, and then it's easier to distribute throughout the strands. I've used it in that way in the past. And that's what I mean by like you really got to use like a little bit goes a long way. But yeah, if I only had access to shea butter, and I know there are some international curl friends, some of us are, watching from the West Indies. I saw that we have some people even watching from India. All over the world, globally, people are watching Fine Natural Hair Rocks. So we don't all necessarily have access to the same products, but shea butter seems to be one of those raw ingredients that seem to be available pretty much everywhere. So that is a really great tip. I really appreciate that you said that, 154 Angel. Lorraine, I missed the refreshing twist part. Do you mind repeating what you said? Yeah, no worries. So I was just saying to split in quadrants. Go ahead and just, once you have your 4 quadrants, twist it back up. Maybe put it in a ponytail with a satin scrunchie, and that will give it the stretch that you're looking for. And if you've got shorter strands, then you can do the same thing with each quadrant. So yes, that's a very good way to go ahead and refresh your twist. You're going to do that quadrant thing that I just mentioned after you moisturize so that it dries in that moisturized state. Island Angel, DIY rubber threading since early July. I recycle my parts and redo every 2 weeks or so. I don't even use a comb. That's fantastic. I feel like that is a really, really good way to make sure that you're not using too much manipulation. You're not losing unnecessary strands. A lot of naturals generally, like, those with thicker, coarser strands, will go ahead and recycle parts. And I think that that's a really good thing to do if you're looking for length retention, but you're also looking to stretch the strands, right? And you don't have access to things like the Revere that I mentioned earlier before. 154 Angel, I wear put on slash pull off wigs each day. Yes, wigs are amazing. So I've gotten this far in my journey from wigs. I'll be the first one to say it. Wigs are very, very helpful. If you're wearing wigs that are not causing damage, you are moving your parts, or not the part, but like where you would place the combs. You're moving that around every single time. You're wearing textures that are easy to blend in. You're doing things to your hair that are low manipulation. It will grow. It will 100% grow. Now, over the years, I haven't been liking wigs as much. I'm getting kind of tired of wigs right now. But I will say it was an amazing tool for growing out my fine strands as long as they possibly can grow. And as thickly too. Like I find that that thickness came because I did just braid my hair, throw on a wig cap, throw on a wig, and just, keep it moving. Those are the things that really led to increased growth, increased thickness, all the things that we're looking for, right? Lorraine, how often should I refresh? So, it really is based on like how dry your hair is feeling. If your hair is feeling super dry, then I do believe that you should go in and maybe refresh more often. So, when I was at the start of my natural hair care journey, my hair was super dry. Most of us are. I would go in and I would refresh every single day. So, for the summertime, that meant going in with like a spritz. And for the winter time, the colder months, that meant going in with a leave-in conditioner or even like a hair milk. So I would do that every single day, and I found that things really did change when I started to do that. Lorraine, how often should I refresh my mini twist and should I use leave-in apart from moisturizing cream? You can definitely double up on your products. So if you were like say right now, like we're in the summer, right? Like you want to be using lighter products. It's really hot. Things can really go ahead and just too much really quickly. So the Greg juice, the or any other curl spray is going to work really well. But in the winter months, or even now, if your hair is really dry, you can go ahead and add another product on. So you can add maybe a leave-in, you could add maybe a moisturizer. You could definitely add other things on, which will increase that moisturizing effect. So, and the great thing too is that there are so many products on the market right now. There are some stylers out there that have a moisturizing effect to it as well. So, even if you were choosing to do your twist with a moisturizing leave-in plus a nice styler that's moisturizing as well, you'll end up getting the nice moisturizing effect, but also the styling effect too. 154 Angel. I don't do them for stretch. I do rubber thread strictly for length retention. Oh, okay. See, so that's really wonderful. So I feel like you're getting like a double whammy out of that in the sense that yes, it's stretching, but which is not what you're going for, but you are going for length retention. That's fantastic. I love that. I never even thought of rubber threads as like a tool for length retention in terms of like protective styling. That is really, really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Patricia, do you use gels on your hair? Yes, I absolutely do use gels on my hair. I use them on my edges when I'm going for more sleek styles. Because it is the summertime, I tend to like to work with the weather as opposed to against it. I will wear some gels in the summer. There is a wonderful gel that I'm using right now. It's a flaxseed gel. It's a black flaxseed gel. And it's really fantastic because it has a way of just like thickening up the edges so that it looks a lot thicker than it actually is. But I absolutely use gels. There's nothing wrong with using gels. I think early in the natural hair care game, there was a lot of fear mongering around gels because they had alcohols in it. But now we've got a lot more healthier gels. Alcohols are not used as much as they were before, and if they are used, people are using, and by people and companies are using more healthier alcohols that achieve the purpose but don't like dry out the hair. And then the other bit too is if you are using a lot of gels, say you're a wash and go natural, say you're somebody who, you just like gels to lock in like a braid out or a twist out. I feel like we're at a stage where because you're doing your moisturization regime, you've got the deep conditioner going on, the nice leave-ins, the nice products, you can add a gel on top and you'll be okay. I think there's nothing as damaging in terms of the structure for fine strands as a relaxer in the natural hair care market. I mean, there's a place for if you want straight hair, you want straight hair. But in terms of like a chemical reaction in the same way as a relaxer, I don't think gels are damaging in that sense at all. And I think even for myself, like early in the natural hair care game, I was under the impression that using gels would like break off my strands if you use it too often. And for sure, if it was like the old stuff, like the Eco Styler gel, for example, no shade to anyone who's using that. If you love it and you're using it, great, whatevs. But for me, I do not use Eco Styler gel. It's just that would be to me a type of a gel that would do more harm than good over time. So, girlfriend, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been absolutely awesome. I really appreciated chatting with you. It's always a joy to talk about fine natural hair and to really figure out what's working for us and what's not necessarily working for us. I really do appreciate you for hanging out with me, rocking with me right now. It's about 5:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Toronto. But whatever time it is on your end of the world in your location, I really do appreciate you for saving that space for fine natural hair rocks. Knee banks, your skin looks lovely. Thank you so much. The previous video, I do share my skincare regimen, so if that's something that you're interested in checking out, maybe you're on a healthy skincare journey, you can absolutely see that video is available as well. If you did enjoy this live, please go ahead and because those things really do help this channel out. It tells YouTube that this is a good YouTube channel, it's a quality YouTube channel, and it's worthy of being shown to more people, more eyes, more individuals. Lorraine Thompson, currently suffering from fairy knots, have low porosity and fine hair. I realize the wash and goes I do contribute to the fairy knots. Is stretching with low heat recommended? Yes. So fairy knots is something that I used to have a lot of as well. And now that I'm thinking on it, I don't really have that many fairy knots anymore. And I think the reason why is because I do lean into stretch styles. If you do have highly textured, fine hair, it will knot up on itself a lot more if you're doing like super shrunken styles, right? Shrunken styles are gorgeous and they can absolutely be rocked healthfully, but fairy knots is something that might come along as well. And so that's the reason why I kind of avoid them, because it can cause fairy knots, single strand knots, whatever we call them. I did also make a video about single strand knots that I will go ahead and also leave in the chat, because I feel like it's something that impacts a lot of us and that, we're always trying to kind of remedy. Deep conditioning will help. Also, what else will help? Keeping your trims, like making sure that you're on top of your trims will help as well too. But ultimately speaking, one of the main things that have worked for me in my personal experience is keeping the hair stretch because then it doesn't have an opportunity to form into a fairy knot. Blazing Saddles. I like Camille Rose Curl Maker Gel. Keeps my hair soft and defined. Yes, that is a very good example of like a gel that is healthy or healthier ingredients. It's not going to damage the strands. For me, I'm finishing up my jar of the Mielle Organics Hawaiian Ginger Gel. That one is a really nice one. I find that maybe the hole isn't as strong, but it's absolutely good at keeping the hair soft and defined as well too. Island Girl gels make my hair hard and crunchy. Island Girl, have you tried like some of the more natural ones? So like maybe like the Camille Rose, maybe the Mielle Organics. I know who else has one? Oh my gosh. Uncle Funky's has one. There's the one that's what made them popular, I think. The Uncle Funky one. Who else? All most of the natural hair care brands, if they're known for natural hair care, I find their gels are going to be a little less harsh, a little less drying, and not as crunchy as some of the other ones. Knee bangs, stretched as in flat iron or blowout or like a braid out stretch. So stretched as in like whatever it is that you're using to stretch. So a flat iron for sure. If you're flat ironing your hair, chances and you're always doing that, chances are likely you'll never see single strand knots or very little, very minimal. That's the word I was looking for. Very minimal single strand knots. But you can, if it's stretched in a blowout, if it's stretched in a braid out, if it's stretched in, rubber banding or rubber threading or African threading or, silk band threading, whatever the case might be, it's absolutely going to reduce the likelihood of your strands just knotting up on each other. Oh, Lorraine, thank you a lot. You're very welcome. Island Girl, you're right about Eco Styler Gel. It's pretty bad. Leaves a lot of residue that's hard to wash out. Yes. And on top of it, it's got ingredients in it that are not very good for our bodies. And that's the reason why once I found out about the ingredients in Eco Styler Gel, I was like, no hairstyle, no look is so important that I'm going to, potentially jeopardize my health and well being for. Like, just absolutely not. So, girlfriend, it is Caravana weekend here in Toronto. Once upon a time, that was a big thing for me. One would say that it is the, Black community's Christmas here in Toronto. Everybody's so excited. There's Caribbean everything going on in Toronto right now. Of course, there's the parade. Then there's like a jerk fest. There's a new patty festival, which is like the first of its kind in the entire world, which is super exciting. I think my husband and I were gonna go check that out. The city is just lit. There's a lot of Americans in town as well. It just brings in a whole bunch of tourism. It's the most revenue creating festival in Canada, period. Caravana. So that is this weekend. Now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I should go to a party. Like I should maybe do like a boat ride party or at least one. Like usually I go to like at least one boat cruise. But do you like boat parties? I love boat parties. But anyways, that's what's happening this weekend. I hope you have a lovely schedule of events, or even if you're just gonna relax, that is very lovely in and of itself and very much needed. I hope you have a blessed weekend. I'm gonna take two more comments. Let's see. Lorraine, Eco Styler made my scalp inflamed. Oh no. Yeah, you see, like there's just so like much negative ingredients that can cause so much damage. Like, oh, that's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. And I believe you. Like, I remember when I was using Eco Styler gel, it used to create like flakes. That wasn't great either. Knee banks. I've always wanted to live in Canada. Nice in the summertime. It is not nice in the wintertime. Oh my goodness, the winter is terrible. Like we all complain about wintertime because it's that bad. Like it's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. Like it's even worse than New York. Like, oh, it's terrible. Um, Thank you. Thank you, Knee Banks. Blazing Saddles, go have fun, Lavinia. Thank you. If I end up going out, I will absolutely post to my Instagram. I do tend to post quite often on a daily basis on Instagram. So if you've got Instagram, my handles are in the description box, especially on the stories. I like to kind of share a little bit here and there, hang out with girlfriends in the DMs as well. Lauren Thompson, what are your thoughts on DIY protein treatments for our hair? So, super quickly, I don't think DIY protein treatments are the necessary best. I would say lean into maybe an AphoG treatment, or even the Olaplex system. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that because I go into full detail about the Olaplex system in this video. And it's a really, really good one. So, I'm just going to drop that here for you, Lorraine. And yeah, thank you. Love yourself. Have a blessed and fun weekend. Everybody be safe. Enjoy your summertime. We are in the month of August. Before you know it, summer's done. So just live every day as if it were your last and, just live nice. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't liked it already, go ahead and like, or rather for watching this live, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit up the notification bell button if you haven't already. And I will see you on Monday, if not tomorrow, in a quick shorts video, but definitely Monday in our next video. I love you lots, and I'll see you next time. Bye.